Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1998 Arizona Diamondbacks Revisionist History. Yesterday we wrapped up the month of April with a big loss. It was 15-0 to the Dodgers. And when we wrap up a month, we have a separate video, which will be this one, where we take a look at the standings, the league leaders. Maybe we'll take a look at the finances and see where we stand as far as having some funds to make trades, perhaps. We are at a point this season where I feel like we don't have much of a chance if we don't get a win from Andy Bennis. Like, the rest of our rotation is kind of in tatters. And you know, I think maybe the more realistic way of putting it is that whenever we face a good team, we are outclassed, and whenever we face a mediocre team, we have a chance, and whenever we face a bad team, we can beat them. So, you know, getting swept by the Dodgers in the way that we did really should not be any surprise at all. And yesterday's game wouldn't have been as bad as it was, except I decided to pitch a outfielder, Rob Ryan, for the last inning, because we did have a day off and we advanced, and I just did not want to use another bullpen arm. I've never done that before in the entirety of, 22 years of playing Baseball Mogul. I don't think I've ever intentionally put a position player in there to pitch. And we did that, and he got rocked for 6 runs, but that's what you should expect to happen. I think my disappointment so far is not in our win-loss record, because it's sort of irrelevant. We're an expansion team. You know, we're not going to win. But it's in the gameplay itself. When we started playing, the first week or so of gameplay, the computer AI was pinch hitting. It was bringing in lefty-righty matchups. It seemed to actually make a difference in your strategy against it. And that is what makes any baseball game fun, is when you can actually utilize real baseball strategy to win or to, you know, blow a lead, or what at least you're thinking like a manager would think. And that's all gone. I mean, in less than a month, it literally does not matter what you choose to do, because the game will automatically shut you down if that's what it feels like it needs to do to get the, you know, the requisite result. And so that's what really has cheesed me off with Baseball Mogul forever. And I thought, well, because we are playing a more modern team, the most modern team that I've ever played, I thought, okay, well, maybe the game functions differently when you play, you know, with a series beginning in the 90s, like we have in 1998 here. But that's just not true. I just don't know. This game is clearly just not a good game. And that's a bummer to me. But we're not here to talk about all this crap. We're actually here to take a look at the standings. Let's look at our standings. We're 10-12. San Fran and LA are tied with the games behind anyway. San Francisco's percentage points ahead. I mean, I'm not sure there's really much we can glean from, you know, April win-loss record, other than the fact that, you know, Montreal's clearly out of it. They're the worst team. They're 7 games back. And, you know, no one is really running away with it, which is good, you know. That is at least what makes me want to, you know, keep playing, is that you never know what will happen. The overall batting average is 256, and we are batting 249. We were doing really well until this series against the Dodgers. That shut us down. We've had 1 home run in like a week. We had 21 home runs. We were leading the National League in home runs, and then the game just stopped giving us home runs. The only person to hit a home run was Rob Ryan in Game 2 of the series versus the Dodgers. So now Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Montreal all have more home runs than we do. And that's a bummer. But we do have more home runs than the league average. And then after we had a couple of errors yesterday by Arubio Durazo, his first two of the season, I pulled up the fielding stats because I wanted to see where we stood. And you know what? We're right there at league average. I mean, there's a couple teams that are worse than the others, but everyone is kind of right around that 982 fielding percentage. And if we take a look at the category that's usually there, which is the ERA, we killed ourselves. Do we have the worst? No, we don't have the worst. Actually, far from it, ERA. But we'll have to work to get that back down. So there's our standings. You'll see Florida's in the lead. Of course, they won the World Series in '97, so they're still a good team. Chicago's one game up on Milwaukee, which is odd that Milwaukee's in there contributing and winning. And it's so weird to see Milwaukee. Well, I mean, Houston, is not in the American League yet. Let's take a look at the American League. Well, there's the wild card race, first and foremost. I always forget. This is the first time I've ever played a season where we had a wild card, so I'm not used to popping this up. But clearly we're not part of that. All right, here's the American League. If you're curious, Tampa Bay Rays have won 4 in a row, and they're one game back of Boston. Cleveland is 6 up. They've won 9 in a row. They are running away with the Central Division. Of course, one of these teams will figure it out and make it make a run for it down the stretch. And Anaheim is winning the West pretty handedly. Oakland will be the first interleague team that we play. That'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. You take a look, they're batting .269 with 23 home runs for an average and a .471 ERA. After a full first season, I guess I'm not going to do it here. But like I said, we were on pace to be 40% down in home runs from what actually happened in 1998. There was just a little bit more than 5,000 home runs in real life in 1998 with the steroids and all that. And we are on pace for a little more than 3,000 home runs total. And like I said, I think we're going to be capped here as we finish up the first month. What I will say as we look at our roster, it's time to really make some moves. We're going to give Junior Spivey a couple more weeks to get it together. And then I think we're going to bring up Tony Bautista, who, where's he at here? Right here. He's got an 80 rating, and he had played the previous 2 years for Oakland. You'll see that he's there in a Diamondbacks uniform for his 98 card. And he's got a ton of power. He can play second base. It's not his best position. He can play anywhere on the left side of the infield. So this would be the guy that would be our second baseman. And then he can give Jay Bell a break at short or Matt Williams a break at third. We don't actually have to have Andy Fox, or Stankiewicz, who are poorly rated and really offer us nothing. Even defensively, they're not that great. Chris Jones is worthless. We can't quite get rid of him, though, because to cut him would cost us maybe the difference in our projected loss. And we want to be able to make some money, We are a little bit, hamstrung right now. Travis Lee, another player that I would like to bring up. He could be a pinch hitter off the bench or start at first occasionally or be a defensive replacement for Durazo. He's got a 99 fielding rating. He was a Gold Glover with his time with the Rays. That's where he ended up eventually. He had a good career. I mean, we do have some players that will give us some hope for the future, but we've got players that we just can't send down because there are major league contracts. So taking a look at our pitching, this is where we are just absolutely terrible. I mean, Willie Blair, although he pitched well his last time out, has been just terrible. Jeff Suppan has been terrible. Pete Shorrock has been solid. He's kind of our number 2, while Brian Anderson is on the IL. And Andy Benez was great up until yesterday. And we had to, or 2 games ago, and we had to force him to give us 6 innings, and that's what blew his ERA up. His ERA doubled in 1 game. He was at 2.13 or 2.15 and jumped up to 4.36 with that outing 2 days ago. And our bullpen is just trash. Absolute trash. We have no closer. Our setup guys are spotty at best. Everybody who has a good ERA, like Omar Dahl, is on the verge of getting crushed. He has to. The game isn't going to let him pitch the whole season with a 0 ERA. So every time we're going to bring in Dahl now, he's going to get blowed up. And we have to let it happen just so we can get it over with. That's why Baseball Mogul sucks, is that the randomness is gone after 1 month. Okay, so we've looked at our roster, and we've looked at the standings. We'll take a look at the finances here. Well, here's the American League since it's here. There's not really much to see here. What I like to look at is the projected profit to see if anybody is projected to lose money, and no one is. So everybody's fine in the American League. We don't really have anything to worry about there. We'll take a look at the National League, though, and we are projected to lose around $2 million, and we will finish with cash. So that's what we have to really care about right now. But Atlanta is screwed because they're going to lose $7.5 million, and they have $4.1 million, so they will finish in the negative unless they make some trades. Everybody else is good, even the teams that have high payroll. I mean, Cincinnati is projected to make $14 million, so they are going to have a lot of money for free agents. Interesting. What's our attendance? 35,000 plus. That's pretty good. So we are making good money, and we're not really spending money on. If we go to our budget, look at our expenses. Yeah, I mean, we're 29th in farm system, we're 29th in scouting, and 27th in medical staff. So we could, raise these up, but then we're going to get even closer to losing into, the negative amount. We don't want to go in the red if we can avoid it. So we just have to manage this year until we can cut our payroll next year and get rid of Devon White and Willie Blair and some of the Schlubbersons, and then we can make some good free agent signings or let those youngsters play. All right, we're going to take a look here at the league leaders. We'll look at the National League. We like to do this with the batters first, and then we do the batters and fielding, and then we do pitchers last. So here is the National League batting averages. You'll see that Brent Maine is batting .412, 68 at-bats. Not a lot. I mean, there's so many players batting over 300. In fact, the top 25 are. And, of course, that includes Pudge, Durazo, and Baber. I mean, there's nothing to learn here. I don't think, really. At-bats? Wow, Adrian Beltre has 101 at-bats already. That's insane. We don't have anyone. I think we've been doing a good job of, giving people rest before they need it. Take a look at doubles. Kevin Young of Pittsburgh has 15, and John Olerud of the Mets has 13. Devon White got his 7th, I think, yesterday or the day before. Who's grounding in the double plays? Vinny Castilla. Nobody cares. All right. Extra base hits. Kevin Young with 17. Devon White has 12. And Bobby Higginson has 10. I guess it's never too early to look at fielding average. I'm always curious about this. Yeah, Pudge. Well, okay, so there's a lot of catchers who have not made an error yet. I guess you're not really going to know much other than who's terrible, like Eddie Taupensee of the Reds. How many errors has he made? He's made 5 errors already. And his caught stealing percentage is 5%. Oh my gosh, that's brutal, even by baseball mogul standards. All right. Piazza's on Florida. Didn't he just play like 7 games for Florida and then get traded to the Mets? That interests me to see how he does as a Marlin. Okay, then at first base, Durazo was great until yesterday. He's only made 2 errors, and they both happened yesterday. That sucks. So he goes right to the bottom. Probably won't make another error for a month. At second base, Junior Spivey. Yeah, Spivey's made 3 errors. Just 2. 2 errors is his range and his WAR is good. 2 errors at this point is enough to drop you all the way down. I don't think the Dodgers made 1 error that series. Matt Williams getting it done. I have a lot of faith in him, so that makes sense. Scott Rowland is the worst. That's unrealistic, although he's only in his 2nd year in real life. Fielding average for the left fielder, Bernard Gilkey kind of in the middle of the pack. Wow, Derek May, 833. Just 2 errors. I mean, that's bad. Oh, he's in AAA now, too. So he got sent down. Center field. There's Devon White and Rob Ryan getting in there for defensive replacement. Yeah, he made 1 error, right? That's stupid. I like Rob Ryan, though. I think he's been great. He's a perfect 4th outfielder. And Devon White has not made an error. And in right field, we got Bobber. And he's made a couple of errors now. Which is stupid. I mean, the guy was great defensively. Look at the amount of errors that he made in his career. It's just dumb. Unless they're front-loading his errors and he never makes another one. I don't know. Games played. Beltre with 24. Hits. Neffy Perez with 35. Pudge and Durazo. They've stopped hitting, though. We all stopped hitting versus the Dodgers. Hit by pitch. Durazo has been hit twice. Kevin Young. He's up there in all categories. Home runs. Gary Sheffield has 8. So he's on pace for 48. He'll never get there. Barry Bonds has 7. That makes sense. McGuire makes sense. Raul Mondesi makes sense. Vladdy Daddy makes sense. Matt Williams. I mean, this is not unrealistic. Jeff Bagwell's off to a slow start. But this I can live with. But also, are they 40% less than where they should be? I don't think so. I don't know. Okay, home run percentage. Sheffield, 10%. Hitting home run every 10 at-bats. That's a pretty good pace. Intentional walks. Raul Mondesi was 6. Should have thought of that. On base percentage, Durazo 436. Will Durazo get 100 walks? He's got 12 in 21 games. As a rookie, that would be kind of amazing. I don't know. If we bring up Travis Lee, he might start taking some of his time, which I'm okay with. Outfield assists. All of our main guys are on there. Gilkey's got 3. Higgy's got 2. Devon White's got 2. Billy McMillan's got 4. What's his arm, though? Yeah, it's garbage. This is so dumb. He's 64. So terrible. Everyone's running on him, and he threw out 2 of our base runners in 1 game. And they should just be running at will against him. It's just terrible programming. Okay, on base and slugging. Oh, look at that. Durazo right up there. Bobby and Pudge. Plate appearances, quality starts. I don't care about range. RBI. Yeah, Raul Mondesi just got, what, 9 in our series? 26 on the season. Gary Sheffield at 25. Gilkey and Rodriguez. Well, Gilkey leads our team. Rodriguez has 15 combined with Atlanta in our team. Runners thrown out for catchers. Pudge has 7. How many does he have with us? What is that? 1 out of 6. He was at 54% before coming over here. Again, this is why Baseball Mogul sucks. That is so stupid. Why would it be any different than any other season he's ever played? I don't understand. And then Jesse Levis has thrown out 15. He's got an average arm. He's thrown out 46%. I don't know. I don't get it. Damian Miller threw out 1. Thrown out percentage. Well, there you go. Overall, Pudge is 4th. And that's probably what it is. Like he had a 54% before he came over here. Now the game is just intentionally evening him out, to our detriment. Okay, take a look at runs scored. Bobby. Devo. Okay, let's see. Sack hits. Everybody else is a pitcher, but we actually have hitters that are so terrible that we have to sacrifice with them. Oh, boy. That's funny. Sack flies. 3 people with 3. J. Bell, Bernard Gilkey. Let's take a look. Well, you may want to know who's got the highest salary. Gary Sheffield making $15 million, and then a drop off to Albert Bell at 10. Greg Maddux at 9.6. Pudge is 21st with 6.7. All right, makes sense. Slugging percentage, anybody, nobody's over 800. Chase Utley, a rookie, has the best slugging percentage. I think he's in a platoon, though, right? Look at his spread. Yeah, he's only had 1 at bat versus a lefty. So he's actually, in the end, he probably won't qualify, I wouldn't think, but who knows? And you see our guys. You got 4 guys on there. Nice. Not for long. Steals. Trinidad Hubbard with 15 and Delino DeShields with 11. Bernard Gilkey, he's 6 out of 7 after having 7 all last year. Again, makes no sense, but we'll take it. If the build, the 1998 season, if it was built off of 97, how is this possible? I don't know. Rob Ryan's on there, and Devon White. Our stolen base percentage has got to be one of the worst. We'll actually look that up here momentarily. I made a mistake here. We'll do that in a minute. Steal success. Oh, anybody that's 1 for 1 is on there at this point. That's dumb. Who has struck out the most? None of our guys. Scott Samuels with Montreal struck out 29 times. Let's see. Strikeout percentage, who's not striking out? Whoa, Fernando Vina has not struck out once? 0 strikeouts and 69 at-bats. That's incredible. 6 walks. Is this game broke? How is that even possible? His eye is a 68. And his contact is an 85. It's not even elite. That makes no sense. We'll keep an eye on that. TB. Raul Mondesi was 61. Okay. Triples. Bobby's got 1. Barry Larkin has 3. Walks. What? How is Durazo not on this list? I feel like he walks all the time, but he's got 12. Mark McGwire with 21. How many are intentional? Just 2. All right. Is that everything? Okay. Let's take a look at pitchers, and then we'll go back and look at stolen base percentage on the team page. All right. Let's take a look at pitcher stuff, and we'll wrap this baby up. Complete games. There's been 5. Wait, Jeff Suppan pitched a complete game? Was I high for that game? I do not remember that. Well, look at his log. Oh. We made him go 8. And that's because that was the game that Durazo gave up the 2 errors, I guess? I don't know. 13 hits, 2 walks. Wow. Well, Jeff Suppan, that helped. I do not remember that even happening. We'll take it. Let's see. What are we looking at here? Games pitched. Omar Dahl with 14. Hey, look at this. We are not that far off of what other people are doing. Remember, that's kind of like my stressor, is that we're somehow going to use every pitcher, every game for the entire season, and yet so are other teams. So maybe I will. I mean, again, it's the first time I played like a modern season like this. So a part of, I just have to learn to adjust a little bit, and maybe I'm doing what I need to do with the bullpen. Although they will be burned out sooner or later. Who's grounded into the most double plays? Kawakami for Colorado. That's a good thing to have a pitcher in Colorado that can get ground balls. Willie Blair. Well, that's because he lets everybody on base. That explains that. Who's hit the most batters? Mark Clark of Chicago and Matt Morris. Joel Adamson hit back-to-back. we brought him in like a safe situation, and he hit the first 2 batters he faced. That's baseball mogul for you. Okay, home runs allowed. Andy Ashby, Masumi Kawada for Pittsburgh. I don't even know who that is. I did find a card for him. There's everything in the Japanese league. I believe that's the Japanese league. Okay, Andy Benez way down there. With only 3, that's not that bad. Innings pitched. Andy Benez with 33. That's through 5 starts. As I would imagine most of these guys are. Yeah. So, as far as I can tell, these teams are on a 5-man rotation. I have no idea why the Dodgers jumped from a number 5 starter to a number 2 starter to a number 3 starter. I don't know why that happened. Okay, innings pitched we just saw. Moving on down. Quality starts. I think this is less important in the modern era. Andy Benez has 3 out of 5. Ramon is 5 for 5. Or it could be 5 for 6. I don't know. Okay, so moving along. Let's see. Saves. Doug Jones for Milwaukee with 7. Kurt Liskanek and Matt Manti for Florida all have 7. Greg Olson has got 3 somehow. Omar Dahl, Chris Hammond, both lefties have 1. And now we're going to look at shutties. Anybody thrown a shutout yet? Oh, okay. So everybody who's thrown a complete game has been a complete game shutout. Ben Sheets at age 19 has thrown a shutout. All right. Starts. Anybody have 6 starts? No. Okay, nobody has 6 starts. That's good. So we're all on track. It's fair for everybody. Now we'll take a look at strikeouts pitched. Ted Lilly with 36. He's a rookie in this game. Yes. 36 and 31 and a third. Andy Bennis has 31. Pete Shorrock on the list. He's been good. That was a good trade so far. Okay, strikeouts per 9. Ted Lilly with 10.34. In fact, there's 4 pitchers with 9 or better. That's good for any era. And I guess walks per 9, not a real stat. I'd rather have whip here, but I don't know. None of our guys, we walk everybody. And wins. Bunch of guys with 4, not on our team. Brian Anderson and Andy Bennis with 2. Chris Hammond with 2. 1 was on our team. 1 was with the Braves, I think. Or are they both with us? No, they are both with us. Okay. He had a loss on the Braves. All right, so there's the league leaders for the National League. Let's go back and do batting average, and then we'll click over to the American League and just look at the leaders in these categories. Home runs, Frankie Thomas, the Big Hurt, 94 with 9. Oh, this is both leagues. I'm a tool. There we go. Tony Clark with 8. Baroa, Palmeiro, Ken Seiko. These are all people you would expect. Juan Gone, Edgar Martinez, Fred McGriff. That's good. Cal Ripken leading in batting average, batting .394. That makes sense. Big Hurt. Hard hitting Mark Whitten. A couple schlubs on Detroit. Edgar. RBI. Frank Thomas has 30 RBI already in 23 games. That is a good start. And stolen bases, Kenny Lofton with 13. Get Kenny Lofton in the Hall of Fame. Someone named Jim Bucari on Tampa Bay has 9. We don't even have a card for him. I haven't done the Rays yet. They are my next team, actually, for baseball cards. I'm still doing that for some American League teams. Okay, so there's your American League hitting leaders, and we'll look at pitchers now. So what do we got? We got wins, we got ERA, we got strikeouts pitched, and we got Severino's. Okay, for wins, we have Apier, Ken Hill, and Jared Washburn with 4. Anaheim is winning all kinds of games. Nicely done. Everybody named Hernandez is on there. ERA, Ken Hill with a 1.39 ERA. Did we miss ERA for the National League? I kind of feel like we did. Maybe we'll check that out here in a minute. Strikeouts pitched, Randy Johnson and Pedro and Rocket Roger Clement. He's on Toronto. I've already got his card up. Looking good for the Blue Jays. Bartolo, Blackjack, Chuck Finley. Doc Gooden's on there. Great. That's amazing. And saves is Flash Gordon with 8. Jeff Montgomery, 8. And the Sandman with 8. Okay, let's just look at the National League ERA. I think we missed that. Yeah, we did. Ed Yarnell with Florida, 1.54. Bobby Jones, 1.67. Alex, you get the picture. Well, let's look at everybody. Let's look at the whole list. Yeah, nobody on our team. Okay. All right, cool. Let's take a look at, what are we looking at? Standings. And let's look at stolen base percentage. Here it is. 63.9, not the worst. Below league average, of course. Oh, Cincinnati's worse. Chicago's worse. The Mets are 50-50 every time they run. Okay, well, I thought we would be bad, but we're not all that bad, really. We're not really good at anything. That's our problem. And we were good at home runs for a minute. So now we head into the month of May. We'll turn the calendar over. We'll start May tomorrow. with the Marlins and the Reds. These are Marlins are first place team. Reds are bottom of the barrel. And then we go to Coors Field for the first time. That will be fun. I'm hoping that our home runs will snap back into shape during that series, and then a day off before we go to Petco or whatever it was called back then. So, okay, I guess that's going to conclude this video. We've already done transactions. There hasn't been any trade since our big trade. Nothing else of exciting, I think, to mention. The only thing that we have to consider for the month of May is getting our roster under control. Like, can we cut a guy without killing us? Like, how many more months do we have to carry Chris Jones on the active roster before we can just get rid of this schlub? He's going to cost us half of whatever we owe him. So do we have to keep him through June? And then we would only owe him a quarter of his total payroll, which would be $125,000. That's still a lot of money to us, I think. So I don't know. We got to get Batista up, and we got to get Travis Lee up. There's nobody of pitchers that's going to help us. We just need to get Brian Anderson back. How many more days? 2 weeks, basically. So we'll get him back maybe for the final game against the Cardinals, perhaps. Okay. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, guys. Like and or subscribe to the channel. We did get to 600. In fact, we're at 601 subscribers. Thank you so much. Very exciting. Stay tuned for our first giveaway. We're going to talk about that probably the next week and start taking contestants for that. Until tomorrow, everyone, have a great day.